Hello, today I'd like to talk a little bit about communication. The core axiom is that one cannot not communicate. Uh, what that means is that regardless of what we do, we are always communicating something. So take this picture of the woman without her doing anything, without you knowing who she is or why there's a picture of her. She's communicating something. We could joke that maybe she has the resting bitch face, or that she's somewhat very sophisticated. There's any number of things that we can assume from looking at this picture. That's the whole core behind being human, is that humans have the ability and the need to give meaning to their experiences in the physical world around them. It's something that is very unique to us. That meaning is affirmed or denied through communication, and all communication relies on persuasion. So next week I'm going to talk a little more about persuasion and then how it fits with argumentation. But for this week, I want us to start thinking about how language is used, because the more we understand about language directly, from a philosophical or even psychological perspective, the better we'll be at using it in our writing, and the better we'll be at interpreting it as we read any arguments. A sign is anything that announces the existence or imminence of some event, the presence of a thing or a person, or a change in the state of affairs. This is a quote from philosopher Susan Langer, who I will be referencing to quite a bit throughout this video. A sign's meaning exists only for that particular moment, as temporary, but intended to be interpreted immediately. So that's really key here. That's the one thing that we need to know about signs, is that they are very brief, and once they've been kind of shown, they're interpreted and then they're gone. So when I say signs, I'm not talking about these kind of signs, even though oftentimes we've come to recognize these kind of signs and do take away a very quick, immediate response to them. So almost everyone recognizes the stop sign or the one-way sign, and you know almost immediately what you're supposed to do there. But if anyone has ever traveled out of the country, you'll know that street signs can sometimes be different depending on where you're at. So street signs get kind of this mixture between what is a sign and a symbol. I'll get into symbols in a little bit here. First of all, though, signs don't necessarily have to be something that we can see. Signs can include any number of things, and they can be used both by humans and by the animal kingdom. Signs include appearance, sounds, actions, and even smells. So we know that birds will sing to attract mates, and ants can actually release pheromones to alert other ants of potential danger. If anyone has a cat, you know that your cat displays all kinds of different signs, particularly with the tail, the ears, just the way the cat acts. I have a cat that looks very similar to this picture. He likes to rub up against everything. He'll rub, if I get up in the morning, he's rubbing up against my leg. I've learned to interpret that sign not as a sign of affection, but that he wants food, because he is very, very adamant about doing this first thing in the morning. And I could pet him, and he will still continue to just rub up against me and follow me around the house. So I know that he's trying to communicate, hey, feed me, human. Now, interestingly, with signs, we don't have to know a whole lot about a culture in order to interpret the signs. So we can look at this picture here of this woman, and without really knowing who she is or why she's dressed the way that she is, you can start to already interpret a little bit about this picture. You probably can guess that this is not an everyday outfit. that this is probably for some type of special event or ceremony.